Good morning. Happy New Year. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you had a fantastic New Year's Eve. Hope you are recovered and feeling ready to rock and roll for the new year. So, this is the first podcast of 2023. How exciting, right? I appreciate you starting off the year with listening to me talk shit. But it's actually going to be quite an informative podcast because I know that most of you, majority of you, are in a little bit of a phase where you're like, all right, now's the time to start dieting. Now I'm going to get on track. Now I'm going to be, changing everything. This is going to be my year. 2023 is my year. Well, let me help you make it your year when we talk about dieting, right? So I'm going to help you you're going to be quite disappointed with the advice that I recommend because you're going to want to get things done faster. You're going to want to see results faster. You're going to want to change everything. But guess what? I'm not here to get you quick fix fucking results that you lose after a month or two. I'm here to teach you how to get results and keep results, right? That's what we're here for. No one wants to fucking, get something quickly and then lose it. It's shit. It sucks. You get disappointed because you put in all the hard work and then you're like, fuck, now I'm back to square one. I ain't going to let you go back to square one, all right? So listen the fuck up. Take some notes. Sit down. Grab a cup of coffee and just listen to the words that I'm going to say today. Put them into practice, right? Put yourself in a good space and get the results you want. It might just take a little bit longer, Cool? All right, so you are very excited. And I know that, you want to try and change everything. And that's the first thing I want to just put that you, as a standstill and say, hold on there. Do not change everything at once because guess what? You can't change everything at once. As much as you think you can, as much as you like to tell yourself, yeah, I can do it. I'll be fine. I'm ready for this. What happens every fucking year people do this shit, man. Every year people go on a health and fitness kick. And guess what? 60% of people, I think it's 60, maybe it's more actually. It's 60 or 80% of people within the first month give up on their New Year's resolution fitness goals. 60 to 80% of people because they set unrealistic, unattainable goals and they go too hard too quickly, all right? You've got this identity that you built up over years. You've got these habits that you built up over years, good and bad, and you can't change them on a whim. You can't be like, yep, sweet, I'm doing all this, no more eating shit, going to bed at this time, waking up and doing cardio 5 days a week, going to go to the gym every single day. It's not going to fucking happen. It's not going to be sustainable, okay? So what you need to do first is really, really consider what can you realistically stick to for the next 4 to 6 weeks, all right? The reason I say the next 4 to 6 weeks, because then you can build off it from there. We want to establish a baseline first, all right? So take a think. How many steps can you commit to a day? Realistically, that's not going to burn you out. That you can do 7 days a week. Not on Monday and Tuesday, you're fucking hyped up and you're all good to go. And then Wednesday comes around and you're like, oh man, I've had a busy day at work. I can't do this. Oh man, fuck, I've ruined my steps. Okay, Thursday, get back into it. Oh, Friday, I've got this event on. I can't do them. Don't do that shit. Set yourself a realistic expectation when it comes to your steps first. Why are steps important? Because daily activity matters and doing more daily activity will help you increase your overall calorie burn, right? Which is a good thing, calorie expenditure. And also, we have a lower chance of all-cause mortality when we increase our step count, all right? Ideally, you should be aiming for 7,500 plus. Between 7,500 and 16,000 is a great goal to aim for. If you do more, sweet, whatever, as long as you can maintain it, For me, I can do 20K steps a day because I have a fucking home office and a treadmill, I have a treadmill office. A treadmill desk, treadmill office. So it's easy for me to do that because I walk at a pace. If you don't, and you also work a sedentary job, how the fuck are you going to get 20,000 steps in a day? You're not, all right? I'm just being real with you guys. So set a step target first. For every 10 minutes of walking you do, that is roughly 1,000 steps, okay? So don't think you have to chunk out big, hour chunks at a time to get your steps in. Think about, realistically, throughout my day, where can I get, 10-minute walks, 15-minute walks, 20-minute walks, or an hour walk if you enjoy an hour walk, but just assess that, And a great thing to do, if you have an iPhone, or if you have a watch, or if you have an Android, like, any type of smartphone, you have a pedometer on there, okay? In the iPhone, it's the health app. On the watch, I think it's the health app on the watch too. Oh, with the Androids, I think you have to download it, but it's already kind of tracking it in the meantime. So what you can do, open up the app, right? Look for wherever you can get your fucking steps. Look at your average steps in a week on a weekly basis, all right? If it's been a bit shit, obviously over Christmas, look at the weeks beforehand. It's going to give you a great indicator of what your averages are, okay? You're going to look at that and you'll be like, okay, realistically, how much more extra can I do? Because if you're looking at your averages and it says you're averaging 5,000 steps a day, and you're like, yeah, okay, sweet, I'm doing 5,000. I'm going to go to 12,000 steps a day. That's another 17 minutes of activity you have to factor in for your day. Now, if you're doing 5,000 steps just as like general duties and, just doing nothing and you're not doing any activity, and then you're like, I'm going to start an hour walk every morning because I have the time, then yeah, you could probably realistically do 12,000 steps, okay? But do you actually have an hour every fucking morning, 7 days of the week? If you don't, do not go from 5,000 to 7,000, right? There is nothing wrong with going from 5,000 to 8,000, hitting 8,000 for a month and then being like, you know what? I actually have more time in my day where I can get more steps in, If you get more than 8,000, fucking awesome, happy days. But we start with lower benchmarks because you build off lower benchmarks, It's like the same thing when it comes to exercise. Oh, I haven't been training at all. I'm going to go 5 days a week. Good fucking luck sticking to 5 days a week consistently. Good luck. Do it for a week. Do it for 2 weeks. You might even get the month in. All right, cool. Then what happens when real life starts to come back into play? What happens when you go back to work, What happens when you have a shitty night's sleep? What happens when you're working late at night or so you can't go to the gym in the afternoon? You're going to be like, oh, I can only go 3 times this week. I feel like shit. You feel like shit. You've gone from doing 5 days a week to 3 days a week. You feel like that's going backwards with 3 days a week, and 3 days a week is plenty. Like, it's a good start. So start smaller, Like, what I would say is if you haven't been exercising at all, aim for 2 to 3 times a week, all right? Because then guess what? On your other days, all you have to do, if you have the option and you want to go more, you can go more. That's a win. But you have that standard of 3 days a week, right? Because then when that becomes a baseline, and 3 days a week is my minimum. If I can go extra, I'll go extra. If I want to do cardio on other days, I'll do cardio. If I want to go and do steps on other days, I'll do steps. Like, you have options there. You have your 3 baseline workouts, right? Then maybe after a month, you're like, actually, you know what? Every Thursday, I always finish work at 4 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. So I have that extra hour to do 4 days a week, Or maybe you're someone who's like, I love starting my Saturday and Sunday off with the gym. So then you go to 4 days a week, okay? Then you've built up an extra day. Awesome. Now you've got that habit. You don't need to go 5, 6, 7 days a week to the gym, all right? That's just a fucking not stupid, sorry, I should say. Unless you are someone who's like dedicated to the bodybuilding lifestyle, you don't need this health and fitness thing to consume your fucking life, all right? 3 to 5 days in the gym is what you should be aiming for. And your steps, okay? So set realistic expectations because, again, if you start off smaller, it might feel like progress is slower and you might be like, oh, well, I'm not losing 2 kilos a week. What the fuck's the point in this? Would you like to maintain this for the rest of the year or, God forbid, the rest of your life? Or would you like to start going 5 days a week and become one of the fucking 80% of people that drop off? It's up to you, I'm just talking real to you guys, Not like I've been in this fucking industry for how many years now? Yeah, not like I've been in this industry for 10 years. What do I know about seeing people coming and going, about seeing New Year's resolutions every fucking year? I know what throws them off. I'm telling you guys what not to do. And guess what? You listening to this right now thinking, oh, well, Tyson's saying this, but I know. No, you fucking can't, You can't. You're not a special snowflake. You're not unique. You don't have, you're not like this magical person who what I say doesn't apply to you because it fucking applies to everyone. All right. Even when I say certain things and I think in my head, oh, yeah, but me, no. That's our ego. That's our ego. Let's just pull that down for a second. Right. And it's funny because it's the same thing. Like, I don't want to start bad-mouthing comps all of a sudden, but like, I've had comp preppers message me after, hey, after they've finished their diet, their competition, and they message me and say, hey, I didn't think this was going to happen to me, but you're right. I did binge eat. I've been in uncontrolled eating. I feel like shit, all these things. And it's like, yeah, like, I know these things, but like some people can't be told. And if you're someone who can't be told, then fucking go do whatever you want to do. But I'm just here to, like I said, make these things sustainable for you, right? So set a step goal that's realistic. Aim for that. Set a workout goal that's realistic. Aim for that. When you start to work out, do not go and look for the heaviest fucking weights possible and run yourself into the ground, okay? Every week should be, I always aim for about a 7 to an 8 out of 10 is what you should aim for every workout, which means when you finish the gym and you walk out, you're like, that was fucking hard. I could have pushed myself even further, but now I can come back tomorrow or the next day or whatever it is. Or you just go 10 out of 10, you keep wrecking yourself, you increase your risk of injury, you make yourself so sore that you can't go to the gym for the next fucking 6 days because you push yourself so hard, and then you're back to square one. Don't do that shit, Actually, that first week, if you haven't been in the gym in a while, take it very easy, Make it like a 5 out of 10. Use that first week as your practice week. And when I say practice week, just go find out what weights feel like heavy on certain exercises. Go fuck around with all the weights and all the machines and just go and have fun for the first week to figure out how heavy certain things should be. Do not go hard if you have not been training in the last month because you're going to be sore. And again, if you go from doing nothing to pushing yourself hard, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to the gym 5 days this week, all right? You're going to do it on Monday. You're going to wake up on Tuesday and be like, holy, I can't get out of bed, or I can't lift my arms up over my head. And then what? You're just throwing yourself off track because you went too hard, right? So that first week, if you haven't been training in a while, take it easier. If you have, again, don't go balls to the wall. 7 or an 8 out of 10. 7 or an 8 out of 10 is where you can, again, you leave the gym, you're like, fuck, that was a good session. I pushed myself hard. Like, I gave it a bit extra than what I'm used to. Or like each week you're trying to go a little bit extra. But I didn't kill myself. I'm feeling good. It was a good workout. I'm sweaty. I feel a good pump. Good, done. You're not running yourself into the ground. You're not like, oh, I can barely lift this weight over my fucking head. Because you don't need to be training like that. Actually, at all. Again, unless you are someone who is advanced or unless you're someone who's taking this competitively, you don't have to train like that, A 7 or an 8 out of 10 is what you need to be aiming for in the gym. Cool? So now we've got some realistic standards that you guys should be aiming for in regards to your exercise and activity. When we have these realistic standards, when you start to ingrain those behaviors, it becomes second nature. Again, if you decide you're going to start going Monday, Wednesday, Friday to the gym, you do that for 3 or 4 weeks, it becomes instinctual. You wake up every morning, you got your bag packed, you go to the gym. It doesn't make you think, should I go to the gym tomorrow, should I not? It just becomes instinctual in your head, For me, there's no question on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, do I go to the gym at 7:30? At 7:30, I go to the gym. It is a habit. It is routinized in my day. That's what I do, okay? I don't go on a Wednesday because I have boxing, and a boxing's at 9 a.m. There's no like, do I go to the gym today? Do I do boxing? I've got it in my calendar. I've made it a long-term habit. Sorted, right? The more you ingrain this, the better. And again, after 4 or 5 weeks, God forbid progress is a little bit slower than you're expecting, you can then decide, do you want to do more? But do not decide to go from 0 to 100. You don't do that shit, Don't be stupid. Don't be a fucking idiot. I'm telling you right now, don't be a fucking idiot. Listen to someone who may possibly, God forbid, 10 years doing this, might know what they're talking about with some fucking advice, So that's the exercise side of things. Nutrition side of things. Do not create a stupid, restrictive diet. Do not cut out carbohydrates. Do not do intermittent fasting for 20 hours a day. Do not, try and eat 800 or 1200 calories a day. Do not, when it comes to the exercise, do not try and train as hard as possible to out-exercise your diet. All right? Do not cut out every single bad food, I hate using that word, junk food, and go super clean. Because these restriction mentalities or these stupid all or nothing mentalities is what fuck people up in the long run. It's the stupid all or nothing approach. It's the 0 to 100 mentality that fucks you up, So what do we do nutrition wise? Well, let's start by making sure every single meal has plants and protein, okay? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Eat 3 solid meals a day, all right? Should be just your baseline. If you want a snack, add in a snack. But for the most part, breakfast, lunch, dinner, okay? At each of those meals, you should have protein source. So breakfast, a yogurt, a protein powder. If you want to have chicken, have chicken. If you want to have smoked salmon, have smoked salmon. If you want to have fucking mince for breakfast, have mince, whatever it is. A protein source at each meal. So that's breakfast. Lunch, same thing. Fish, chicken, beef, tofu, tempeh, textured vegetable protein, any animal product or non-animal product as a protein-based source, and the same for dinner. Keep it simple. That's what you're gonna do. Then you're gonna have plants with each meal. So plants for breakfast would most likely be fruit, okay? Or if you're making a smoothie, you could blend up some spinach. People blend up cauliflower in their smoothie because it makes it thicker. That would actually probably make me vomit. But if you want to add a little bit of extra veggies, you can do that because frozen cauliflower's got no taste, okay? So either that or get some fruit in. Any fruit you want. Fruit's not going to fucking make you fat, okay? Jesus Christ. If anything is going to make us fat, God forbid it be fruit, Have you ever met anyone in your life that said, I stopped eating fruit, lost 30 kilos? Wasn't the fucking burgers that I was eating, wasn't the full sugar Cokes that I was drinking, wasn't the, every takeaway night that I'd get as pizza and whatever else. It was the fruit. That's what stopped me from losing weight. No, okay? Have fruit in your fucking diet. Majority, priority, probably it would be fruit for breakfast. Unless, again, you want to add cauliflower and something or spinach in a smoothie. Lunchtime, veggies. Dinner time, veggies, all right? You got, 200 different types of veggies you can go from. We obviously have the basic ones that we all know. Broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, cucumber, tomatoes, onion, pumpkin, asparagus, broccolini. Those ones off the top of my head, You get the steam fresh veggies or the stir fry veggies, whatever you want to have. They're easy to cook, doesn't require a lot of meal prep. Have 2 servings for lunch, have 2 servings for dinner, okay? Oh, but 2 servings of veggies. Well, yes, 2 servings of veggies. Because guess what plants and protein are going to do at every meal? They're going to be, firstly, protein is going to fill you up, takes longer to digest, has a higher thermic effect of food, which means it takes more energy to break down. It takes longer to break down. It'll also help you recover from the gym and maintain muscle mass, right? Plants are going to be having plenty of fiber, going to have plenty of nutrients in there, so you're going to get your micronutrients in, you're going to be feeling full. You combine plants and protein together, you're going to have a very satiating meal. It's going to keep you full for a longer period of time. That's going to avoid you overeating, okay? Now, if you want to add a little bit, if you can either track this or you can do your hand portions. So hand portions, if you, for those of you listening, open your hand in a palm, fingers will spread out, then clench your fingers so you can just see the palm, basically, of your hand, right? If you're a female, that's a protein size portion for you at each meal. If you're a male, it's 2 of these, okay? Veggies are a fist size serving. So veggies and fruit, fist size serving at each, 2 fist size servings ideally at each meal, which would be great for you, right? With breakfast, for a majority of you, probably 1 fist size serving of fruit will be enough because you're like, I'm full, I can't eat that much. And this is the thing, if you're eating plenty of fruits, like fruits and veggies and protein, you're gonna feel full. You're gonna be like, nah, this is way too much food. Good, it should feel like that because when you actually eat nutrient dense, whole food, it is filling and you can eat a lot of it and still be in a calorie deficit, which is fucking amazing because then you'll lose weight feeling full. Surprise, surprise. All right. Now, if you want to, that's basically our baseline there. I'm not saying cut out carbs or anything. If you want to have carbs, you absolutely can. Protein oats in the morning, which would be good. Or you've got your fruit for a carbohydrate source there. For lunch, you can have some brown rice. You can have some potatoes. You can have, what else can you have for carbohydrates? Quinoa, lentils or legumes, which would be great. Whole grains ideally, or something again full of fiber. Same as dinner, choose ideally whole grains for the most part, or again, plant options like quinoa. I can't think of the other word. Quinoa, couscous, whole wheat pasta, whole brown, brown rice, they're all going to be ideal. The reason I say use brown is because they are full of micronutrients and they're also full of fiber. There's nothing like, white rice versus brown rice. If you don't like brown rice, you can have white rice, but it's just got less fiber and less nutrients in it overall. Okay, so this is the only thing here. White potatoes are not bad for you. White potatoes are actually full of micronutrients, so you can have white potatoes. Should you have white or sweet potato? It's a taste preference. It's not a fucking good or bad food preference, all right? Same as white bread versus brown bread or like whole grain bread. Again, the whole grain bread's gonna fill you up for longer. It's got a little bit more nutrients in there. That's gonna be your biggest differentiation. And so with that, you would actually make like a little cup, get your hands again, spread it out. So your fingers, make it into a little cup, like you're gonna cup up some water. That's gonna be a serving of your grains to be able to put on each plate, okay? Simple, very, very simple. That's gonna be the basis of your diet, all right? Now, for most people, you probably get hungry around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This would be a great little place to put in some protein and some fruit. So maybe Chobani low-fat Greek yogurt with a piece of fruit. Maybe a packet of beef jerky with some fruit. Or what else would be good for you guys? I'm not the biggest fan of protein bars, but if you want a protein bar, go and get a Perform protein bar from Coles. The rest of them are absolute fucking trash, so go and get that. You can make a smoothie then. So again, like something simple, banana, a little bit of peanut butter, protein powder and some skim milk, which would be a good idea, or even just protein powder and water with a piece of fruit. Easy peasy. So that's the basis of your day. Now you can add sauces to these meals. Low sugar barbecue sauce or tomato sauce. You can use chili sauce like Tabasco sauce. What else can you use? Pardon me. Herbs, spices, salt, pepper, all these things. All we have to kind of do is just not use fucking high calorie sauces. So take away your aiolis, take away your mayo, take away all that bullshit. Look, great, it tastes great, but we're just trying to make some calorie reductions here without being super restrictive, okay? And then what you can do, think about I'd say about one meal of your day where you're going to allow yourself to have one treat. Okay, this treat is not going to be a whole fucking chocolate bar. This treat is not going to be 3 tablespoons of Biscoff. This treat's not going to be anything stupid, all right? It can be a Frodo Frog. It can be, one of those small snack chocky bars. What else could it be? I don't know what else you want. It could be that tablespoon of Biscoff with, what's it called? With breakfast if you're going to have your protein oats. What else would it be? Or maybe like a piece of chocolate at night. What else do people want to snack on? Like, that's the main thing, right? Like, something small, okay? As a treat. We want to include these because we do not want a fully restrictive diet. Because if you cut out everything, you're going to fucking swing in the other direction. You're going to end up binge eating everything and be like, oh, time for a cheat meal. I've been good for 2 weeks. I might as well have a cheat meal, which is fucking stupid because that'll ruin your progress. Don't do that shit, all right? One treat a day, okay? Oh, but only one treat a day. Yes, while you're dieting, you might have to make some fucking sacrifices. You don't have to cut out everything forever. It's just for a short amount of time. Or I could just be a cunt and say, don't have any treats at all. And again, eat very clean and healthy, and then you'll fucking ruin things. It's up to you, A tablespoon of peanut butter is not a treat. The peanut butter and the oats is fine. Biscoff is different because Biscoff is very, very tasty, right? And it's easier to stop eating peanut butter versus Biscoff, okay? So this is why I'm trying to differentiate with you guys, like, what we want to include and stuff like that. Things to be wary of with healthy foods that you shouldn't be having high amounts of is any gluten-free, organic, if you go and look in the health aisle and you look at organic potato chips, it doesn't fucking matter. They're still potato chips. They still contain calories. They're basically calorie equivalents of normal potato chips. Like the Woolies and Coles health food aisle, when you go down there and they've got all the alternatives, the healthy chocolate, the healthy biscuits, healthy, fucking all that stuff. Don't fall for any of that bullshit, okay? Just because it's quote unquote healthy, organic, whatever the fuck that is, does not mean that it's going to help you lose weight at all. It's just a marketing tool to replace the bullshit, basically. It's still bullshit at the end of the day. Don't fall into that snuff. If you're someone who's going to have some nuts in your diet, the only thing you want to be careful of is snacking a lot of nuts because they are quite high in calories. Do not have handfuls of nuts, right? That is the easiest way to fuck yourself up with dieting, all right? If you want nuts, put your thumb out. Look at that thumb size. That's going to be the amount of nuts you have. Probably going to be 7 to 10 nuts, you know? Oh, but that doesn't seem like much. It's not really, because they're quite calorie dense. They're healthy as fuck for you, you know? They contain a good amount of fiber and a good amount of monounsaturated fats. So I'm not telling you not to have them. You just have to limit them, okay? So if you don't fall into that marketing bullshit of like all the healthy alternatives, and then also if you just be careful with your nuts, they're probably the biggest contributors to people having issues with, making healthier choices and not seeing progress. If that makes sense. Cool? So making those adjustments, you make that a habit. Now, let's go Uber Eats or takeaway, because you still want to be able to include this. I would say, as a whole, you have 28 meals a week, right? Or 28 times you eat. So 3 meals and a snack. Might be a snack, might be dessert, whatever it is. Let's say 28. 25 out of those 28 should be home-cooked or pre-prepped foods. So if you're going to organize, something like Papa Macros or My Muscle Chef or any of that shit, that's fine. That's calorie control. 3 of those meals can be eaten out. Now, when I say, eaten out, it doesn't mean a fucking cheat meal. It doesn't mean go and order KFC. It doesn't mean go and eat bullshit because you can have whatever you want because you've been good. It means you can go and enjoy a takeaway meal or whatever it is, but it still has to be calorie controlled, but a healthy choice, let's say. So, for example, Friday night takeaway night. Instead of going to get Macca's or KFC or other bullshit, you keep it quite lean calorie control. You go get Thai food, you get beef or chicken stir-fried vegetables with oyster sauce. Done. All right? You have a little bit of fried rice too on the side. That's it. Don't get your fucking spring rolls, even though they taste good. Don't get the money bags. Don't get the pad thai, the pad CEO with the thick noodles and all that stuff. All that shit adds up. As delicious as it is, it all adds up. Okay? Go get Guzman and Gomez. Go get a burrito bowl. Say, get a burrito bowl, no cheese, swap brown rice for extra lettuce, get extra protein in there, and get an extra serving of salad. It's fucking delicious. It's filling. It's like 600 calories. It's fucking awesome. Simple tip, okay? If you go get the burrito, the tortilla adds up. The rice adds up. The cheese adds up. The sour cream adds up. All that shit adds up. So we take away those things. If you guys have access to poke bowl, I really like poke bowls. We have what do we have here? Fish bowl, right? I will get, if you do know fish bowl, I get a Mr. X with a cabbage base with chicken. That whole meal, again, is like 500 calories and it's filling as fuck and it tastes good. So you got that. What else? So I said Guzman. I said Guzman, Thai food, fish bowl. What else would we get? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head what should be some other choices you guys can make. Mad Mex is kind of the same as Guzman. I can't think about everything else at the top of my head. Oh, if you can get sushi, get sashimi, okay? Because you might think, it's fish and rice. It's not bad, but the calories add up very quickly, right? And so ideally, if you go get sushi or sashimi, start with the sashimi first, like whether it be salmon or a white fish or prawn, and eat the sashimi side first. Fill up on that. Then you can have a little bit of rice, it's like 2 rolls or whatever it's going to be. But the rest should be from sashimi options, okay? Which is basically fish only. Or is that nigiri? I'm not too good at this stuff. I'm not a big sushi fan. But choose the ones without rice for the most part, And then don't get the katsu chicken. Don't get the deep fried shit. Little choices. Because again, we don't want to restrict you guys forever. If you're going to go out to eat, you're going to go to a cafe, you get eggs on toast, poached eggs on toast, ask for butter on the side. Because guess what? You don't actually need butter on the toast. The eggs, I've said this before, the eggs will lubricate the butter because of the fat on it. It tastes just as good. You get poached eggs on sourdough toast with a side of spinach and some mushrooms and a coffee, you're fucking sweet, all right? You don't get anything else from there. What about this? What about this? No, it's all fucking extra bullshit. Right? You don't even have to have the spinach and mushrooms because it actually, they chuck a fair bit of oil in the spinach and mushrooms if you want. So if you want to keep it very basic, 2 poached eggs on toast. Simple. Have a coffee with it. Done. All right? You can still go out and have your breakfast. You're going to go out for dinner somewhere? Look for the protein option. Swap the side. Swap chips for mashed potato. Or, better yet, swap for a salad or vegetables. Or get salad or vegetables on the side. There's always a fish or a chicken or a beef or a, I don't know, lamb or a pork. There's always a protein predominant option. Choose those, okay? Because in this way, you've got that little bit of flexibility. You're not going balls to the wall. You can have your 2 or 3 meals out that aren't going to be, ridiculous. And here's the thing. With this, again, because they're not cheat meals and they're just included in your lifestyle, you eat normally, like I told you, for the rest of your meals. So if you're going to go out for breakfast, guess what you do for lunch? You don't go be like, oh, well, I've already had takeaway. I might as well eat whatever the fuck I want. You go and eat your plants and your protein. Okay, the same thing for dinner. That's what you do. You go and get takeaway dinner that night. You know what you do during the day? Plants and protein. Don't cut calories. Don't do extra exercise. Don't think because you're having takeaway tonight, you might as well fuck the whole day off. You don't have that mentality, okay? And also this way, you don't have the restriction. You still get to enjoy social life. You still get to go out for food. It may not be the food you want to have all the time. I get it. But guess what? You say you want a diet. This is the shit you've got to do by making it inclusive. All right? And making this a lifestyle with health, health food adjustments, choosing good predominant foods, having a little bit of, excitement, a snack a day, being able to go out 2 or 3 times a week without blowing your fucking calories over, that's sustainable, is it not? I'd assume so. And this is how we create a good lifestyle. Okay? Now, what else would I say? Oh, so regarding the first week of you dieting, this is going to be the most amount of weight you'll probably lose when you first start off, because you're going to drop some water weight, especially if you're eating shit like, over Chrissy and stuff like that. You're going to drop water weight. You'll probably drop a few kilos, okay? That's not body fat loss, okay? It's just water weight that's been accumulated in your body. After the first week, it's going to slow down. This is normal. Your rate of weight loss should be about 0.5% of your body weight a week. 0.25 to 0.5% of your body weight a week. So if you're 70 kilos, that's between 150 to 350 grams a week. If you're 60 kilos, it's even less. It's 100 to 300 grams a week. And you might be like, oh, but that's not fast. I didn't say it was going to be fast. Do you want to fucking do this for the long run, or do you want to lose it quickly and then not be able to keep it off? If it's a little bit slower, because hang on, you think it needs to be faster, but you have no idea. Like, this isn't your fucking job, is it? You have another job. You just think it needs to be faster because it's what you see on social media or other bullshit. So don't make assumptions that you don't actually know about, all right? I'm telling you off right now, I'm telling you, stop fucking making assumptions about that shit. So, 0.25 to 0.5% of your body weight a week. If you lose more, fantastic. If you don't, as long as you're moving in the right direction, okay? So with that, averaging losing that, the scale's not going to reflect that every week either, okay? Just because we're aiming for that, it doesn't mean the scale weight's going to show up consistently with that, which is why we take our measurements and our photos every weekend. Ideally on a Sunday, you should do your own check-in. You do your weight, you do your measurements, you do your photos. You can assess every week, are you making progress? If the scale doesn't move, but the measurements move, you're making progress. Even if it's a centimeter, you're making progress. If the scale doesn't move, the centimeters don't move, but you can see physically that you look way different compared to last week, you're making progress. If none of those things have changed, but clothes are fitting better this week, you're making progress. If you're sleeping better, if you're healthier overall, if you're pushing harder in the gym, if you are having more energy, if you can run for the fucking bus without getting out of breath, you are making progress. Stop getting caught up in just that fucking scale weight. Stop getting caught up in thinking you have to lose X amount a week, every week, as fast as you can. Get the fuck out of that mentality, okay? Think about all the health things that are happening in your life. That is progress. You do not determine progress from the scale weight alone, okay? So every Sunday, you do your check-in. Do you want to weigh yourself daily? Do it. You don't have to. The scale weight will fluctuate daily. Just know that, okay? As long as if you do your average weight, so let's say you weigh yourself 4 days a week, you add up those 4 weights, you divide it by 4, that gives you a weekly average. If that's trending down, happy days, okay? If it doesn't trend down 1 week, again, if your measurements have gone down, happy days. If you have your menstrual cycle, of course, things are most likely not going to move and the scale's going to go up. Obviously. Does that mean you're not making progress? No. It means your body is actually regulating hormones properly. That's a good thing, by the way, okay? So just remember this about the progress side of things. Like I'm trying to give you guys, just understand this shit. because it frustrates me because people are fucking putting so much attention to the damn scale. God, frustrates me. What else is I going to say about the scale? You don't have to weigh yourself every day. Like I said, just whatever you want to do. If it's once a week, it's once a week. If you don't want to weigh yourself at all and you want to do just measurements, just do that. It's whatever is not going to fuck with your head. Okay? With the weight fluctuations, do not think it's irregular if your weight is fluctuating 1 to 3 kilos. If it jumps up a certain amount, like you wake up, you're like, what? How is my weight 2.5 kilos up? I've been doing everything right. Then you've been doing everything right. The scale, you can't control that shit. There's too many variables. So every way to assess, are you making progress? Have you been sticking to your daily activity that you set yourself? Have you been eating better than you were? Have you been like making those good choices? Have you been, basically daily activity and movement. Daily activity and food. If you do those two things and the scale jumps up, and then you can look back and say, I've been doing exactly what I need to do. And before the scale jumping up, it was going down. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just a random fucking day up. It might be a random 2 days up. Who gives a shit? If you don't control the outcome, you control the process. If you're eating well, if you're moving, you keep fucking doing what you're doing. And you do not become a child and react from one thing telling you that you don't want to see, Like, who throws tantrums a lot? Fucking children. You know who have uncontrolled emotions? Children. Yet, we act like children when our scale weight doesn't want to go down. And I hate it. And I'm going to go and binge eat. And I'm going to be, fuck it. Like, what a wasted day. Rah, rah, rah. This is what people fucking do all the time. Are you a fucking child? The amount of times I've told people about the scale weight and they still jump up and down about it not fucking moving in the right direction. I'm like, how old are you? You let this fucking thing dictate whether you should binge eat or emotional eat today. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, I would expect a 4-year-old to jump up and down and scream and crack a tantrum. I don't expect a fucking adult to do that. Imagine doing that in your job. Like, something that you get a bad email. So you just start hitting the keyboard and screaming and being like, ah! Like, what, your boss is going to look at you and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And you're like, they sent me a bad email. I can't believe this. Mate, all right, like, fucking relax, okay? Like, you control your emotions at work when people are cunts. Control your emotions when you look at the scale. It's just a fucking number. All right? So basically, I think I've basically given you guys everything you kind of need to know going forwards. So firstly, let's just recap. Because I feel like some of you would be like, yeah. And then it's going to go out the fucking other ear. All right? Start with sustainable goals with your movement and activity. Set a realistic step count. Set a realistic a weekly gym goal, okay? Do not go to 5 days a week. I'm going to keep saying this. Do not go to 5 fucking days a week and do cardio and everything every day. Don't do that shit. Secondly, change your diet to make predominantly good choices followed by plants and protein at every meal. Add a little bit of whole grains in there. Choose 1 treat a day to be able to include. When you go to eat out, 2 to 3 times a week max. Make good protein, lean decisions for the most part. You don't get fucking cheat meals, all right? You follow that as a lifestyle. You consistently do that. God forbid after a month you have a look and you're down 2 kilos, only 2 kilos, but you've got way healthier habits. Then you can decide, do I want to build up from here? Do I want to do more? Can I do more? Do I have realistic time? Then you can build up from there. Then you keep moving forward. 6 months down the track, you might not have lost all the weight you wanted to, but you're probably a lot leaner than you were at the start of the year. You've ingrained really good habits that are going to be sustainable. You haven't fucking binged eat or gone balls to the wall off your diet because you think you need a fucking cheat meal or you've cut out all the bullshit. And guess what? You're more active than you've ever been in your life and you're healthier. Seems like a pretty fucking good way. People underestimate what they can do in the long term and they overestimate what they can do in the short term. Yes, that's correct. Yes, they overestimate what they can do in the short term. You change that mindset, you be okay with progress taking a little bit longer, and you're going to create sustainable, lifelong habits and still get results. It's just going to be a little bit slower than you think, all right? And if you need help controlling all this stuff, if you need exact guidelines with what to do, send me a message at Tyson the Trainer on Instagram, Tyson the Trainer with 2 R's. I do have online coaching for this to keep people in check. All right, I'll make things sustainable for you. I keep you accountable. I tell you exactly what you need to do without breaking your balls or making you feel like, you're doing too much or overwhelming you. I make it very easy to achieve results and keep them. Cool? All right, well, hope it was helpful. If you guys did enjoy it, I would love for you to rate this podcast and share it with friends so they can help other people. And enjoy your first week of the new year. Hope you guys have a great one.